recorded, I'm spotlighted, so feel free and you are welcome to have yours on. Always lovely to see your faces. There it is. And also now, as I've said before, we are finally streaming live to YouTube, which means that they will be saved there. So in the future, if you ever want to replay one of these sessions, then you can. So that's available to you, which I'm really, really glad that we managed to get that done. So let's have a little show of hands. Who's never been to one of our sessions before? If you're on screen, you can pop up an actual physical hand, and if not, then maybe a virtual blue hand. Cool, let's have a little look. Welcome, welcome. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. If you're new, maybe pop in the chat box. You can find my name, Solomon. Let us know how you found us, what you're doing here. You're so welcome. It's always nice to have more people join us. There are so many familiar faces, and it's always nice to be welcomed by new people. Have you ever done mindfulness before? What are you hoping to get out of this session? Hit my name. Hit my name. Don't hit my name. Click my name. Click my name. And write me a little message of what brings you here today. And while you're doing that, I'll just give a little bit of an introduction to myself and to this session. So my name is Solomon. I'm a mindfulness teacher, and I'm the lead mindfulness teacher here at StudyStream. I live in Brighton, but actually at the moment I'm not there. I'm in a place called Cornwall, which is in the southwest of the UK. I'm pretty much actually as far at the end of the UK as you can possibly get. There's a place called Land's End, which I'm not too far from, so I'm kind of as southwesterly as you can possibly get. Visiting some friends on holiday at the moment, so that's where I'm sitting. And we run these sessions every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at this time. It's usually me on Mondays and Fridays, and then sometimes we have a guest teacher from our team who comes on a Wednesday. Sometimes it's also me though. Someone's asking, does that mean there are no seagulls? Interesting question. So where I live in Brighton, it's on the coast. There are usually seagulls that we can hear during the sessions. I'm on the coast right now. I had a very lovely swim in the sea, but no, there aren't as many seagulls here. That's a great question. I'm going to find out why not. Why are there not as many seagulls? Okay, interesting. I'll follow that up. So in this session, we're going to run for about half an hour. And after that, we allow you guys to unmute yourselves and just hang out during the open mic session and just connect as a community, which is always really nice. And but up until that point, our mindfulness session basically consists mainly of a meditation practice that I will guide you through. So if you've never done mindfulness before, absolutely welcome to be here. I'm going to talk you through everything. And if you have done it before, then clearly you're a fan. So you've come back for more, which is wonderful. Clearly there's some benefit going on. So welcome back. Mindfulness, in a nutshell, is, well, there are different ways to describe it, different ways to talk about it, but a lot of what mindfulness is around where and how we place our attention. So our experience is in many ways determined by those things. What are we focusing on at the time, and how are we relating to our experience? So having the ability to place our minds, for example, on our studies, to procrastinate less and be more productive is really, really helpful. So that so our minds wander a little bit less, which can also help us in the emotional space as well. Sometimes without realizing that the mind just repeats and repeats and goes round about the things that frustrate us. I imagine everyone can relate to that. I certainly can. So by noticing when our minds get distracted and start going around in that endless loop of frustration or anger or sadness, by training our minds to notice when that happens and to have the ability to step out of that and focus on something else, or maybe choosing to investigate that experience, but from a more objective standpoint, can be really helpful. So that's the where we place our attention. And in terms of the how, with our mindfulness training, we also, as best we can, try to be with our experience with a sense of patience, with openness, curiosity, kindness. And this takes some time. This isn't something that we just kind of can do instantly. I often give the analogy of if we are trying to develop stronger muscles, we might go to the gym, lift some weights. We're not going to expect to be able to go into that gym straight away and lift the heaviest weights, to lift the same weights as the people who are there most days for a few months or years, whatever it may be. We start off small, we build up, and in time we get stronger. And that's the same with mindfulness. We're just working our mindfulness, our brain muscles in terms of where we place our attention and how we do it. Does that make some sense? How does that sound? We've got some nods, lots of nods. Okay, cool. Well, at the end of this, once we've done the practice, the chat box again we can use. If you've got any questions, you can type them to me and I can try and answer them. But for now, let's just have a look at the chat box for a few guys who are new, what you've written. Avery says, I saw this on a TikTok and it's 4:30 in the morning in, wow, is that Australia? And a bit hard to sleep right now. All right, welcome at 4:30 in the morning. Australia, I'm not sure we've had many Australians join us before. Very welcome. And yeah, I hope we can help you find some rest, some relaxation, and hopefully after this session, maybe sleep will be a little bit easier. Valerie says hi, she's here because of the Discord server. I've always wanted to do mindfulness, but this time it is a weird time for my country, so I'm here now. Yeah, absolutely. Weird times for many of us, challenging times. So I'm really glad that we can be together and practicing this. Valerie says that they are Peruvian. Hola, Valerie. Oh, Valeria, sorry. Permiso. Avery says, think I might hop off and watch some of your old ones on YouTube, but you seem like a nice person. Thank you. Have a good day or night. Okay, Avery is off to watch one of the old sessions on YouTube. Very welcome. I'm glad they're being used. For the rest of us who are still here, let's move into a practice, hey? Oh, and one other person says, I'm having a headache. I think this would help. Great. So actually, that's a really helpful reminder that I do like to say is for these sessions, we often come here for a particular reason. And often I ask people, you know, why are you here? What motivation have you got for being here right now? And it's really helpful to acknowledge that and set an intention for our practice. And at the same time, this is not the same kind of achievement-based, achievement-led exercise that we often experience. Usually we arrive somewhere and we say, right, I want to feel relaxed, or I want to be more productive, or I'm doing this for this particular reason. And we have a goal, a specific goal in mind, and then we measure ourselves between where we are now to where the goal is. What we're going to do here is we're going to acknowledge that we have a goal. And then we're just going to put that to one side for a moment, and we're going to focus our attention on where we are right now and just the present moment. And what we tend to find with mindfulness practice when we do it like that, we often actually, ironically, tend to get to our goal more quickly by not focusing on it so much. When we can let that go, we often find the journey there is a little bit smoother and quicker. Let's do the practice. We'll see if that's true for you, and then we can discuss what that means if it's not clear. So I was thinking today we'd have quite a simple practice, simple in the sense that there aren't many stages. My mind has been feeling really frazzled today. I've been doing a lot of traveling, seeing friends, and as lovely as it's been, my attention has been all over the place. And I really thought it would be nice to have a practice where we could just allow the mind to settle and focus in just one or two places. So I thought maybe you'll join me in that today. As I always say before we begin, if you have anything nearby that might be distracting, anything that might buzz or beep or something you'll want to check in front of you, maybe just turn that off or put it onto silent mode, maybe pop it to one side. And then let's just have a little stretch. Let's give the body, just feeling into the body, not thinking about what you think you should be doing, or what stretching looks like, or what stretching is, but just noticing how the body would appreciate a little bit of movement right now. Maybe as you do that, noticing just how that feels as you stretch. Maybe there's a little bit of light relief. Or maybe actually you notice that there's a twinge there that you hadn't noticed before. You can just give that a little bit of love, a little bit of attention, a little massage, whatever it may be. And then when you're ready to, you can just allow the body to settle and just come to stillness. And find a way of sitting that's going to feel comfortable, whatever that means to you. Remembering that mindfulness is a practice of falling awake rather than asleep. So maybe finding a posture that, while comfortable, is also one that encourages us to feel awake and alert. And then if it's okay for you, you're very welcome to allow the eyes to just gradually close. So we're sending a real signal here of our intention. The intention to allow the mind to settle, to focus, and for the time being, for this moment, just to be with the internal experience that we're having. And just allowing the body to settle. Maybe taking a few breaths, breathing in through the nose, allowing the air and the oxygen to fill the nostrils and through the throat, into the lungs and down into the belly. And then a nice, deep, slow exhalation. Just allow this to repeat a few more times. When we breathe through the nose, when we breathe deeply, but gently, with a long exhale, it's another signal to the body that we're safe, that it can relax, that it could settle. And then you can just allow the breathing to return to normal. And really notice this transition of controlling the breath with the deeper breathing to now having this sense of not needing to control it at all. A letting go. A sense of the body breathing all by itself. Nothing you need to do. And just noticing how it feels to just have this moment to yourself. No need to achieve anything, no need to do anything. And sometimes this can feel very reassuring and calming. And sometimes it can feel uncomfortable. Maybe there's a sense of urgency, of a need to do something. But whatever your experience, just noticing whatever comes up. And just allowing yourself to be here now. And for the beginning of this meditation, we're going to take our attention and place it in the part of the body where we notice ourselves breathing most clearly. So just noticing where that is for you. It could be in the nostrils, the air moving, the hair inside the nostrils and the cooler air coming in, slightly warmer hair on the exhale. Or maybe in the throat as the air comes through. Or lower down in the chest, noticing the rise and fall as you breathe. Or maybe the breath finds its way all the way down into the belly as it inflates as you breathe in and falls back again as you breathe out. And maybe you notice the tightness of the clothing and the relaxation again as you breathe down in the belly here. So just choosing the place that makes sense for you right now. Placing your attention there and just feeling into it. Having a felt sensation of the body in this place as you breathe. And as always, I encourage you during these practices, if anything feels overwhelming or too uncomfortable, always knowing that you have a choice as to what to do next. Maybe right now it would make most sense to take your attention elsewhere if the breathing doesn't feel right for you. Maybe to open the eyes and focus somewhere else. Most important thing is remembering this sense of having no judgment for whatever experience we have. And while you try to place your attention on the sensation of the breath, you may notice certain mental images arrive. Maybe some mental chatter of thoughts, possibly something nearby or around you is distracting. And just knowing that this is entirely normal. It's how our minds work, searching for information to process. And each time that happens, just bringing the mind back, each time, to the felt sensation in the body as you breathe. As best you can, tuning in for the full duration of each breath. The inhale, the exhale, and the pauses or the spaces in between as well. And perhaps bringing a sense of curiosity to this experience. Whatever the experience is, just noticing what happens to the mind when there are no distractions. And noticing how the breath feels. Does it feel smooth or rough? Fast or slow? Shallow or deep? And each time the mind gets distracted, just noticing how each time we bring our mind back again, it's exercising that muscle in our brain to be present. You can congratulate yourself for having recognized this. Then just tune into the breath once again. As we come towards the end of this practice, just allowing your focus of attention to zoom outwards slightly, to take in the body as a whole. A felt sense of the whole body sitting here. And just notice if there's any tension in the body. If there's any holding, maybe in the face or the hands or the stomach. And without having to try to force anything, you can just notice what happens when you bring awareness to that tension. And see if it kind of just unfolds, unravels all by itself. The sense of the whole body here, sitting, breathing. Noticing any tension and just allowing it to dissolve. So as we hear that bell, we know that we've come to the end of the practice. So just like how we began, if there's any movement that the body is telling you it would appreciate, just moving in that way. Any adjustment to the posture, any gentle stretch, rolling of the neck perhaps. Maybe a gentle massage on the face. And when you're ready, you're very welcome to open up the eyes and come back onto screen if they're not already. And we have a few minutes, as always, where we have the chat box open, and I would love to know how you found that experience, how you found that meditation. It was a meditation based around the breath primarily. And as I said, a very simple meditation where there weren't many stages. And the instructions were quite simple, to simply return the attention back to the breath, the sensation of the breath, to recognize when it had drifted and wandered. And then also alongside that, maybe cultivating a sense of curiosity and kindness. And then at the end, we had a brief check-in with the body to just notice if there was any tension. And also interested how people found that invitation to not feel the need to force anything in terms of to get rid of any tension, but just noticing what happens when you bring awareness to that tension. I wonder if anyone found that just the awareness itself, you just noticed it and kind of almost automatically by itself, it kind of dissolved, or just a little bit, not entirely necessarily, but there was some lessening of that tension. And particularly from the people who are here for the first time, I'd love to know how your experience was. You can find my name there, Solomon, and let me know, and I can read some out, share them with the group, and then in a few minutes we'll get to the open mic session. Camilla says, thank you, it was so calm and relaxing. Thanks, Camilla. Thanks for joining us. We have Apurv. Sorry, guys, if you want to write your names as well, that'd be really lovely. Maybe where you're from as well. Otherwise, sometimes I try and guess from your from your Zoom names. Apuv says, I couldn't work at all today. Hopefully now I can focus my mind. Thank you. Yeah, me too. I hope that helps. Let us know next time. Come along. Kelly says, I didn't know I had tension in my face and it unfolded on its own. It's so interesting there. It's that sentiment of realizing that sometimes we don't need to try to immediately jump in and fix things. Sometimes just being aware of something, it does its own job. It goes through its own process. And that can be the case for tension in our face, or sometimes some real difficult emotions that we're feeling. We're just noticing it and learning in time how to be with it, rather than trying to either push it away, ignore it, be angry with it, or solve it straight away. Sometimes just giving it a few moments, it kind of unravels by itself sometimes. Okay. And that was from Kelly, who's in the United States. Thank you. Valerie says, I loved it. I was having a really bad day and now I have a new perspective. Thank you. Vaish says, hey there, I was rather late today, but I was just in time for releasing the tension part. And I struggle with that usually. It's so nice when you have someone to guide you out of it. It was a lot better today. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us, even though you could only catch us for the last bit. It's still so, it can be so helpful, and you're always welcome to come whenever you arrive. And absolutely, yeah, sometimes often getting the guidance can be really, really helpful. Doing it by ourselves can be trickier. Alex from Germany says, I felt quite deeply focused and relaxed this time. Great. Kiana says, I get distracted because my brain scares to face itself and spend time with it. Kiana, wow, can I relate to that? Sometimes the scariest thing is, yeah, silence. Is why we so often seek distraction, and why often we say that the most challenging part of maintaining a meditation practice is sitting down to do the practice, that very first moment. Actually, once you're there, it can be quite challenging and difficult to stay with it, but it's often that trepidation of what we may find. I don't know if that's true for you. I can see you nodding a little bit there, so maybe that's the case for you. Yeah. So often I find that even if I'm feeling like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do this, I sit down and it's most often not quite as bad as I think it may be. My expectation is that the experience will be worse. So I often encourage people that if they feel like they are able to approach it, at least try it, dip a toe in the water to turn up and to try it. And if it feels too much, then absolutely you can make that choice to step away. But I'm really glad that you came and that you tried it. And yeah, and I hope that that you keep coming and that you find some benefit from it. Let's have a little look. But Kiana as well, I was just going to say it's quite. I'd love to know more about. I'd love to be able to have a chat with you and see see what your experience is. It's quite difficult in these larger sessions. Hopefully soon we're going to organise some more regular sessions in smaller groups, and we can really have a chat, and that would be really nice, I think, for all of us, so we can get to know each other, and I can give a little bit more accurate, specific guidance. Minnie says, I felt so light on my body. So much. I really enjoyed your session. Thank you. Zai says, my mind has been all over the place today, so it's kind of hard to stay focused, but I can see it slowly coming back to my goal and intention. Beautiful. Lovely. Thank you. Saida said, when I first started in today's session, I felt like an atomic bomb ticking so fast, and I realized that I'm trying to build an instinctual punctuality. Since April, one thing that is crystal clear is that I have become more vivid thanks to these sessions. I'm now allowed to just stop and be and see where I am, if I am truly happy. And that's Saida from Istanbul, Turkey. Thank you for that really detailed account of your experience. Yeah, I'm really getting that sense of a ticking bomb there, and a sense of yeah, wow, I'm just reading it again, clarity with and a vividness of who you are and how you're feeling, to stop, to pause, and just check in with yourself. Beautiful. Thank you. Ayushi says, I've been traveling and meeting up with friends too. After lockdown, it's a bit overwhelming for me. This session was much needed. I feel so collected and content after this. So thank you for the session, even when you're traveling and catching up with your friends. Ah, thank you. Yeah, it can be a lot. It can be a lot. Being with other people is what can often bring us so much joy. But as I'm quite introverted, so I really recharge my batteries by taking time out to be by myself. So yeah, so there is challenge through all the lockdowns by kind of coming back to the point earlier about the silence, the lack of distraction, kind of what Kiana was saying before. When there's not much going on, it's like, okay, it's me and my brain. That's tough to face. That's tough to be with. And then the world starts to open up a little bit, and it's like, let's go spend time with friends, and that's awesome and great. But it can also be exhausting. It can be really exhausting, and amongst all the other kind of challenges that come along sometimes with friendships. But yeah, thank you for relating to that. Let's have a look. Sydney says, I was a little late for this session, but the minutes I was here allowed me to be more calm. Greetings from Peru. Thank you. Tana says, actually just the fact of putting me to motion to enter the session, moving to a comfortable place and position made me feel very well and relaxed. And the back pain has just gone. Beautiful. Yeah. In fact, someone was asking just today on the Mindfulness chat channel on the Discord server about whether we could offer some yoga classes. So yeah, so people have asked that before, so maybe. I'm no expert yoga teacher. I am a yoga teacher of some sort. I can teach some movement, some mindful movement. So maybe when I'll get a little poll going again for a future session, and we'll see how popular the idea of doing some movement might be. Because yeah, the mind, the body, they are, as I always say, intrinsically linked. So yeah, I always like to begin and end with a little bit of just, even if it's just a 30-second stretch. Tapia says it relieved my headache. I'm really glad to hear that. Draj says joined a bit late. Is it okay to not do it completely? Absolutely. Please come join whenever you're able to. Just be aware, I often say at the beginning of the sessions that if anything doesn't feel comfortable, if you don't feel sure of any aspect of the practice, you always have that choice, that responsibility to know that you can take a step back, focus your attention somewhere else that does feel more comfortable and welcoming, maybe even open up the eyes. This might just not be the moment for mindfulness to you, like we were talking about. If the mind is feeling particularly agitated and a challenging place to be, this might not be the best place for you. Long term, and most of the time it hopefully is the right place, but sometimes it may not be. So just always know that if you arrive late, always know that that is something that I'll have said at the beginning of the session, and that you know that that's an option for you. Okay, I'll read a couple more, and then I don't know what time it is actually. I think we're probably a little bit over, but let's do a couple more. Palisa. I feel a lot less frazzled and a lot more in control of my thoughts. Thank you. Brilliant. And Zora says, hi, here, thanks for the session. I feel better now as my day was not going so good till now, but maybe now I can concentrate and focus better on my work. I hope so. Come back next time and let us know. Salam says, I was distracted by the raindrops on the roof, but it was a great experience as always. Natasha said, from Zambia, I had a long, productive day, but I came here to reset and hopefully sleep better. My chest was heavy, but once I became aware of the tension there, it relaxed. Definitely going to have a better night. Thank you. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you. Really interesting report there. Really interesting reflection. Yeah, I hope you sleep well. Estefania, I really needed it. I was feeling a little distracted. Great. And lastly, Kartin. Wow, I'm dyslexic, guys. This is the worst possible job for me. Kartini Devi. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Next time, maybe write it in there. Let me know how to pronounce it. Hi, this is my very first time here. I truly enjoyed this session. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you. Beautiful. What a wonderful place to leave it. So guys, that's everything from me. Thank you for joining me. These sessions, as I always say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, wherever you are in the world, this will be the time that it starts, whatever time it is now, or the time that we started. Wow, that sentence didn't come out clearly at all, did it? I will be back on Wednesday and I think Friday as well. So it's me, you have me 3 times this week. I'm going to head off and you guys can, yeah, unmute, chat, connect as a community. So that's it for a couple of days. I will see you on Wednesday. Thanks, everyone. Have great days and evenings.